Good day, everyone. Ali Safi here, Safi Financial Network. Today is May 14, 2025. All right, let's just start with S&P 500. We got Doji bar here. We are just getting into the supply area, which is 58 to 5900 and pretty close to 6000 as well. So this is the area that I'm just looking at for a pullback. Potentially, we may see some kind of like, as I said, pullback is coming for the second half of May, which is start on Friday. So second half of May, all the way to first half of June. So we may see some kind of like a 1 month period for a pullback, and that's going to be a pullback. That's going to be a correction, healthy correction. Market just pouring with lots of good news. Everything seems like getting very good, especially when President Trump is in Persian Gulf area. So you will see that there are lots of discussions with Saudi Arabia, with Qatar today. So there are lots of deals happening. So that's why you see that semiconductors and some specific stocks actually roaring to the upside. But the entire market is not following each other. So it's not the same price action as we saw before. There are some handful names just driving market to the upside, not all of them. So S&P 500, we just got a lower high today, and today high actually was not above yesterday high, and also we got a abandoned baby potentially. So if we see a sell-off tomorrow, or I should say like about end of this week, if you see that's going to be a nice reversal pattern forms, and then we may see some kind of like a pullback to 54, even 5600 a level. So that's going to be the level that I'm looking at for pullback. Nothing more than that. So we'll see how it goes. Um, moving on to Nasdaq. Let me just go to the Nasdaq here. Nasdaq is the same. So we just got kind of like a stronger price action for Nasdaq. Nasdaq obviously getting RSI 2 overbought condition. First time after this sell-off, actually first time after December when we got a nice uptrend to the upside. RSI is just getting back to the upside nicely. We just got into overbought condition, which is good. So this means we are obviously in a bull trend, but as I said, we are getting into this resistance area, so we may see a pullback. There is a gap here around 2000, 20,000, so we may see some kind of like a pullback, and that pullback is going to be healthy pullback to this area. I'm not saying market can go all the way down here. When we were here, we were expecting some pullback here. Now we just got a nice consolidation, break into the upside. So this is kind of like overstretched, overbought, and we may see some kind of like a backing and filling potentially to 20,000 area. So we'll see how it goes. Dow actually is starting pull back a bit. So this is kind of like a second consecutive red day. We got into this 42,000, 42,700 area. So that's the area that I'm looking at for a pullback. And obviously we just got a pullback. There are some heavy value names like United Health actually just put pressure on Dow Jones and the other names as well. But I would say we are kind of like see the pullback potentially is continuing to 41,000, not more than that. And then if we just see a reversal to the upside, that would be a nice reverse head and shoulder for another rally, potentially for heavy value names. I would say they're going to have good time, especially summertime. So we'll see how it goes. But based on the price action, I should say Dow is just poised for another rally to the upside, but we need to just give it time for a pullback. As I said, the next few weeks, we should see some kind of like a choppy, sloppy consolidation pullback to the downside before the next rally. Moving on to gold, which is coming through actually in our analysis. We just take out this low, and the gold is paving its way to 3,558 to 3,150. So that's going to be the first zone that I'm just looking at, but we may see some kind of like, even if we see overshoot to the downside, we may see some kind of like this even sub 3,000 level, which is gonna be potential scenario. So this is very important pivot. This is a pivot, and this is the wide range bar. So we may see some kind of like a support here, but if it overshoots to the downside, even 2,900, I don't mind, to be honest, because gold ultimately is gonna just going all the way up again to new all-time high. That's my plan. But right now, we should see some kind of like a choppy consolidation again for especially months of June. So we are in May, second half of May still is ongoing. So you will see some kind of like a choppiness for the next few weeks. Moving on to silver, which is following gold again. So this is nice. You see that this is a consolidation, but if this consolidation fails, which I believe it's going to fail, then we're going to see a sharp decline in silver. Silver can go all the way down to 27 to 29. That would be a perfect zone buying opportunity for silver. So I'm just looking for that one to see if silver can give us a great buying opportunity. This is going to be a final buying opportunity, and I would say silver is going to lead gold, and I would say white metals are going to lead brown and golden metals down the road in the next rally. So platinum, potentially palladium, and silver is going to be they're going to be the leader for the market, the precious metals market. Moving on to crude. Crude just getting back to the downside today. We just got a nice overbought condition, a stochastic dual back bear reversal on a daily chart. We got it here, and also RSI just getting to the 50%. So this is the area that we saw before, and this is kind of like the reversal that we see. So we may see some kind of like a choppiness, even going down to test this low. So that would be kind of like the possible scenario, and then getting back to the upside. We don't see breakout above this zone. This 65, $66 is very, very important. If we get above this, that would be a nice W pattern, and we should just shoot to sky to 72 to 76. Right now, we don't see that pattern yet, so you're just waiting for that one to form. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very choppy consolidation. Moving on to individual names. So starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a good consolidation here, 103,494 right now, and forming kind of like a lower low, lower high. This is kind of like the scenario that I'm just looking at for Bitcoin. If we see any pullback, that would be kind of like a first target is going to be middle of this white range bar, 100,000. That's the level, and then getting back to the upside. Or we may see some kind of like a deeper correction to middle of this white range bar, which is going to be 90,000, and then getting back to the upside. All in all, I should say crypto still is not finishing its rally. So we may see some kind of like a pullback consolidation, or even this consolidation can break in through to the upside. But that would be best scenario if you see a pullback for Bitcoin. The same here for Ethereum. Ethereum is down today, but we're just getting into this supply zone here, 25 to 2900. That's the supply zone for Ethereum. Bond yield at the same time just going higher, nicely close above 4%. This put pressure on gold, and also this means that inflation is going to come back. I don't know, CPI just came up below expectation just 2 days ago, actually yesterday, and but bond yield just getting back to the upside. Seems like a Federal Reserve is going to just keep the rate as is for I would say a decent amount of time. So that's why bond yield is telling us a market is gonna just keep betting on the rate unchanged. TLT Treasury is down today. Obviously, when bond yield is up, TLT bond is down, putting pressure on the bond, and this is kind of like an H pattern. If it doesn't hold this 85, I would say 82 is coming down the road. It's going to test this area. And that would be kind of like the area that I'm looking at potentially for buyers are coming back. Again, 82 to 85. VIX start picking up today. So market was kind of like hesitating in S&P 500. Nasdaq was positive. Dow was negative. So you see that the mixture of different stocks, actually just sentiment is getting back to volatility. And I believe that we are bottom in volatility, so we should see VIX is getting back to the upside potentially for nice rally to 27 to 29. So we'll see. Dixie, nice hammer here. So we may see some kind of like a catching up to 102, 103, even 105 could be a potential scenario for Dixie. This is kind of like an intermediate bottom. Right now, we can see the dollar is gonna strengthen a little bit to the upside, and after that, we should see how dollar is gonna react to the market. I would say 103 to 105, 106 even. That's gonna be lots of resistance there. Moving on to Apple. Apple, just a doji bar after hours, just closing to the downside. And I still looking for this 185, 183 for Apple. Moving on to Amazon. Amazon is the same, just forming a reversal nicely to 16 and then getting back to the downside. Amazon, I believe that it's going to fill out this gap. Meta is the same, so it's just shooting to the upside nicely today as well, but getting into this supply zone. So I'm not betting on spicy rally for now. I'm just looking for a pullback, folks, potentially to get to 600 area. So we will see. Microsoft getting back to the upside nicely today, and we are actually blessed for Microsoft because we bought lots of positions here in this demand area. Remember, we were talking about this, and right now Microsoft is just closing above this pivotal point, challenging this pivotal point December 2024. If we get above, I would say 460, Microsoft is heading back up nicely to the upside, and we may see a new all-time high. Google at the same scenario here. So 165 for Google, nicely challenging this area. There are lots of resistance here, but seems like Google is poised for another rally, potentially to 180 to 184. This is the area that I was looking for. Netflix, after just I would say very, very short-term correction, Netflix is getting back to the upside nicely, and right now we are pretty close to new all-time high. Tesla shooting to the sky here, 347. Remember, we were talking about a bottom in Tesla here, but unfortunately, lots of people don't listen to us, and this is the beauty of the market. When everyone is seller, you should be buyer. It is very, very easy term to listen. It is hard to act. But right now, we are kind of like a blessed again. So Tesla can go to 380. I would say that's my target. Even if it goes to new all-time high, I wouldn't surprise. Semiconductor index nicely sparking higher today. Doji bar, I would say they're getting close to some resistance, and sellers are coming back potentially for the next few days. Stocks the same here. So you see that we are pretty close to this trend line here, so we may see some kind of like a sellers coming back here. We see that the divergence in the market. So NVIDIA nicely shooting, ripping up this trend line. We are getting into this 140 to 144. I'm kind of like looking at for a pullback, but seems like NVIDIA doesn't look like to have a pullback potentially. This one is the main driving actually for today market. With AMD. AMD just nicely reacting to this trend line here. So look at this. This is exactly the level that we were talking about for last couple, I would say, months. And AMD nicely surging to 122 today, and sellers to control even after hours. They just sell more. And I think this is very bullish, folks, in a bigger structure. If you just to see that we close above this trend line here and getting back to the downside. These pivots are challenged, and we just got above it. So even if we see some kind of like a pullback to this area, which is going to be 95, even sub 100 level, that would be kind of like the scenario. And if we get back to the upside, look at what a reverse head and shoulder pattern is going to form. So I believe that it's going to happen like a little bit higher or lower, but we'll see that. Moving on to Taiwan Taiwan Semiconductor, 194 for Taiwan, just a abandoned baby forming right at the supply area here. Texas Instrument, this is kind of like the shadow here today, Doji bar, and we just need to see some kind of like consolidation, even backing and filling to this 172. That would be the scenario. Lam Research, finally, we just got a higher high, but sellers to control. We closed negative today. Sellers are coming when we have nice rally like this. Sellers are going to come back and sell, but ultimately, I'm just looking for 100 level, 101 for Lam Research ultimately. So let's put a box there. So we will get back to that one. Moving on to financials, they're just forming kind of like the reversal. They're getting back to the downside today, confirming, not a strong confirmation, but it's kind of like the confirmation that we see that here's the overbought, KBE, the same pattern here, KRE, the same pattern here. We saw the confirmation on the downside. JP Morgan actually not the other way. It's just going higher today, and it didn't react to this supply area. It's just getting back to the upside. Goldman Sachs, the same pattern, just going higher, 600 level right now. And Bank of America, look at the rally here. Very nice rally to the upside. This is overstretched, overbought. Overbought can be more overbought, but right now we are just getting to this gap, white range bar breaking through. So everyone needs to be cautious. If you have long position, at least just book the profit or even just to trail your stop higher. Um, don't change your green with red. So that's my suggestion. Wells Fargo, the same pattern. Banks actually did have a nice rally, like the other stocks as well. They had a nice move to the upside, 76.28 right now. And but I would say they'll get into this resistance here. So just be careful. GDX, which is gold miner ETF, they just sharply going down, form a doji. Potentially, we may see some kind of chopping around here. Still, I don't think that's going to be a bottom. We may see a bounce, but not an ultimate bottom. So wait for that one. GDXJ, the same scenario here. We just take out this low, but there are lots of buyers here. So within this 49 to 56, there are lots of buyers sitting here. And you see that the momentum is going to help it. AEM, the same scenario. Like Nickel, just getting downside. We may see even 100, even lower. But that would be kind of like the good scenario. Newmont, you see that. It's just going down. And I would say 44 even to 48 could be a scenario. Moving on to XLE, which is Energy Spider, just higher today. Actually, shadow on the upside and then forming a doji bar. So XLE like crude, I would say if it consolidates here, that's going to be a good news. But I think we're going to see a pullback. Like crude actually formed a pullback. Exxon just going down to the 108.48, and also Chevron is just going down 141. So we'll see how it goes. All right, folks, I believe I covered everything. If you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and have a good one. See you on the chart.